joining us with more. Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Rubio, thank you for joining us. Senator, you believe, and you've not been wrong on any of this, you were the first to tell us that this invasion by Putin began. Thank you for informing us. But you think the possibility of Putin using chemical weapons is very real. Explain.
Yeah, I think if Putin thinks he's going to lose and he's running out of options, there's all kinds of dangerous things he's prepared to do. And I think part of what you were just discussing there with Senator Cruz, about the lack of look, there's two things happening right now. Americans are losing confidence in Joe Biden and his ability to manage the job and to get results and changes for our country. But it's not like foreign leaders and foreign adversaries don't watch the same video. And they watch the same things. And that's the part that concerns me the most with all these gaffes. It's not just the impact that it's having here domestically on Americans, but I think Americans understand our system's a lot more than just about Joe Biden, although his administration is doing a lot of damage. But our adversaries and our allies start to lose confidence in our country, and our adversaries start to wonder whether they can get away with certain things. And that's the part that really concerns me when it comes to Putin. Is I think he invaded because he didn't think Biden would do anything about it, and I think he's willing to do other things now potentially because of the same.
Okay, so we've been showing these videos. We got entire cities leveled. You got innocent men, women, and children, obviously they're civilians, dead in the street. You got mass graves. Look at your screen. Oh, you can't see it probably, Senator, but we're putting it up on the screen now. Mass graves. You have entire cities now that are in rubble. It's been, just bombing on a level that we haven't seen like this, just indiscriminate bombing anybody. And he's gone pretty scorched earth in this conflict. It seems to me NATO and America need to do two things and two things only. One is they need to get the weapons to Zelensky and the Ukrainians as fast as possible. They don't seem to have a sense of urgency. And two, most of our NATO allies and most Western European countries are still reliant on Putin and Russia for energy, and they're throwing billions of dollars in his pocket every day. That has to end immediately.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. On the energy front, they've allowed him to use it as leverage, as a weapon, and he still holds that over Europe's head, and in many ways over the head of the rest of the world, because if the European energy markets collapse, the whole world will feel the pinch from it. And then you talked about the weaponry. Look, that's critically important. I think we have to stop talking about giving Ukraine the weapons they need to defend themselves and start talking about it this way. The weapons Ukraine needs now to win. They have a real chance here, not just to achieve a strategic victory, but an operational one, which would do, permanent damage on the Putin regime in Russia and for years to come. I think send a very powerful message. I mean, you don't think China's watching this and saying, well, we really better think twice before going into Taiwan. We don't want to wind up the way the Russians did, with suffering the kind of damage. It's an important thing. They deserve the credit for fighting it.
Why do I think that President Xi is seeing just the opposite? I think President Xi is calculating tonight, if he goes to take or reunify with Taiwan, we both know what that means. He wants to take over Taiwan. I don't think he expects any resistance.
Well, that's a great point, because I think the difference between China and Russia is this, and that is they have a much larger economy. It's going to be a lot harder to sanction Russia for China for one simple reason. We depend on them way too much. A lot of the things that we use in this country are made in China by Chinese. And if we cut them off, we're hurting ourselves, and they know it. And they plan to use that against us as leverage. That's why we need to bring manufacturing capacity back to this country, bring back factories, bring back the ability to make things in this country. And if it can't be made here, make it somewhere close to here, an allied country. But if we depend on China, we are allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to them. And that's one of the things I'm certain he's calculating, is that we won't be able to do to him what you've seen the world do on sanctions to Vladimir Putin.
It is exactly the same thing. Half of their economy is based on exports. Half of Russia's economy is based on energy and oil. And as susceptible and vulnerable as Western Europe is on energy, we will be as susceptible with China. Senator,
yeah, we're the Western Europe of China.
You're right. You're right. 100%. And we should fix it right now.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thank you, Senator. All right.